Dimosthenis Karatzas and speak to you for a minute as the scientific director of the XARXA-RDI-IA, or better, the Catalonia AI Innovation Hub. That's probably an easier title to remember. I would have liked Victor, who is the manager of this, to be here, but he's on paternity leave, so I will take over for today. The Catalonia AI Hub is basically a network that brings together pretty much all research groups on artificial intelligence in Catalonia. So we're talking about 25 institutions, more than 70 research groups. And the whole point there is to take technologies out of the drawers and do something with them, right? So we have identified about 180 technologies that we're working with up to now with all these research groups. And the point there is take them out of the drawer and somehow valorize them and make sure that they create some real life impact, right? So at the end of the day, we want to increase the innovation rate, and we do that in a number of different ways, right? The key things that we are working on are basically these three axes, if you want. No, on one hand, we are providing innovation consulting. That basically means that the research groups in Catalonia can come to us and we can assign them a person that knows the job to actually help them do a number of things that maybe researchers don't know how to do. Anything from market research all the way to a business model and funding plan and getting to the market. We have our own venture building program. So we actually start with putting together teams and taking them through a whole process during a number of months, creating basically ventures out of putting together people from technology, business, and guiding them through the whole process. And of course, we offer training, and this is training on entrepreneurship to AI PhDs and postdocs mostly, right? So we want to make sure that our researchers do not fear basically to cross the door over to sciencepreneurship, right? So very quickly, let me go through these three things. The consulting part that I said before is basically people that parachute into research groups, so they can ask us for that. We have calls 3 times a year, and they can offer a number of different services to these research groups, right? Anything from helping them get in a market study, understand how the research they have done fits to a particular market, coming up with a funding roadmap for them, thinking about business models and go-to-market strategies, checking their patentability and protection policy and all these kind of things, right? So these are things that maybe the researchers don't know or that they don't have the time to dedicate on, and we basically help them by assigning them people that can work on this. On the training side, on the Talent Factory, that's basically a number of courses. As I said, they are mostly entrepreneurship based, and the idea there is to make sure that the researchers get some kind of training on building new ventures, on moving towards transfer, right? And on the venture building, we have our own program, the Accelerator, which is now in its 4th edition. And it's actually a program that starts from scratch. So we start with finding people that are willing to participate from the technology side and from the business side. We do a full weekend to build groups and put the ideas together, and then we go through an iterative process where we come up with a plan. We check the market, we do interviews, we validate solutions, we work on the pitch, then we go out and interview again, then we validate it again, and eventually we end up on an Investors Day that usually happens in the Mobile World Congress, this huge event that we have here in Barcelona every February, March, every year. Now, once startups are created, we don't leave them alone, so we still accompany them to some extent. So either existing startups or the ones that actually come up from our programs, we still accompany them through the first steps, right? So as soon as you create, or even you haven't established it yet, but as soon as you are on the path of creating a new thing, a new startup, all these things will eventually become due, and they are complicated steps in the process, right? So we want to make sure that all these people have some kind of a friendly, accompanying person that can help them through. So we do that as well. That's what we call the tech builder services. And that is a watch this space slide, because it's not yet in place. But what we are planning to do during this year is create an investors club, so that we can also approximate a bit better the investors over here with the ventures that we're building. I'll skip through the numbers, but this is more or less the facts and figures of what I've been doing over the past couple of years. You can find us in a number of events. Some of them are places that we organize ourselves, like our annual event here in Barcelona, but then we also go to places, so it's pretty common that you'll see us. You'll see this XARXA-RDI in a number of different places, especially in Catalonia. And of course, last but not least, we intend not to stay in Catalonia, right? So there is an important need to internationalize what we're doing over here. And we do that in a number of different ways. So one is we accompany the government to a number of different visits in different places that have to do with artificial intelligence. And that's very, very, very useful and very interesting to set up collaborations and direct links. But we also participate in the LIF Alliance, which is what I mentioned before. This is a European initiative, basically, to build initiatives like ours, which are local, together and try to build something bigger, a gestalt in Europe that will work in a much better way. And of course, we're trying to get our AI accelerator to another initiative called the AI Launchpad that we'll have some chance to speak about in the panel that is coming up, which is an initiative managed by ETH in Zurich. The short word about the Life Alliance, what this is basically an attempt to bring together this kind of local innovation hubs that we have a few around Europe, in order to create something much bigger that, in a collaborative way, for sure we can do better. We work on a number of different things there, and at this point there are 8 nodes, 8 cities that participate in this alliance. We are the only one from the south, and it is very enriching, I think, because you see that in different places things are happening in different ways, and there is a lot of scope for collaboration and for getting good ideas. So if you are a researcher, you should already know about us, but if you don't, then tell your boss that they should keep you informed, because there's lots of things for you in the XARXA-RDI, in the Catalan AI Innovation Hub. If you are in the industry, please feel free to approach us, and we're happy to collaborate and put you in contact with where research happens in Catalonia. And of course, more than happy to speak to investors, for whom we probably have a full menu of options every year, right? So thank you very much for that.